Violence erupts again in the capital city of Port-au-Prince, days after Haiti's Transitional Council names a new prime minister. Hello, I'm Anand Naidu, and this is The Heat. Gunmen launched a string of fresh attacks, burning homes and exchanging gunfire with police. That was one of the biggest outbreaks of violence since the appointment of Haiti's new prime minister. The country's Transitional Council chose a little-known former sports minister, Fritz Belizaire, to succeed Ariel Henry. Henry resigned after Haiti's armed gangs united in opposition to the government. Well, joining us now is the UN's independent expert on human rights in Haiti, William. William, thanks so much for joining us. Haiti continues to suffer from extremely high levels of violence, gang violence on the streets of the capital, Port-au-Prince. There are food shortages, there are fuel shortages. Hundreds of thousands of people have been made homeless because of the violence. And as I said, now the Transitional Council has appointed a prime minister, Fritz Belizaire. What do you make of the latest developments? Is it going to change anything?
It's a little early to tell. The Presidential Council just was sworn in a week ago, Thursday. And as you noted, this week they've named a new prime minister and a president of the council itself, a chairperson, so to speak, in this process that has had much criticism. And the gangs are reacting, as I think could have been expected, that they are basically showing their unhappiness with this political process going forward without them. So we'll see. I think it's going to be tricky. I think the main issue still will be to get in the international force that was authorized by the Security Council last October to help the Haitian police to stem the violence. They're still not there. And of course, the arms embargo that should be applied to Haiti is not being really enforced, and the gangs continue to receive weapons and ammunition.
That multinational security force that you are talking about, why has it not been deployed? As you say, it was passed by the UN at the Security Council some time ago.
Yeah, I think there are two main reasons. One is the problems of the Kenyan courts. There was a court case brought in Kenya alleging that the deployment would be unconstitutional, and a trial judge decided in favor of the opponents of the deployment. The Kenyan government is appealing that, so it has to work its way through the courts. The second issue was the president of Kenya, President Ruto, and the then Prime Minister of Haiti, Ariel Henry, met in Nairobi in late February, early March, to sign an agreement which was supposed to address the judge's main criticism of the decision to deploy, that there was no reciprocity between Haiti and Kenya in terms of the deployment. They had an agreement that they thought would address that concern. The problem then became Prime Minister Henry was never able to get back into Haiti. He tried to get back. He was stuck in Puerto Rico. And President Ruto said, I've lost my counterpart, so we're going to wait to see until the Haitians work out this political issue of who's in charge. So a combination of legal, political, and also financial. There's only $10 million in the UN Trust Fund to pay for this, and that's not nearly enough to make sure it could happen in terms of paying the Kenyans, paying the Jamaicans, paying the other countries who have promised to send police. They don't have budgets for that, so the money's going to have to come from somewhere, and the money's not there just now.
To get back to your earlier point about the flow of weapons to Haiti, of course, it's a country that doesn't manufacture weapons or ammunition of any kind. Most of those weapons come from the United States. There was an arms embargo, which was put in place last year, 2023. Why has it been so difficult to enforce that embargo?
That's a very good question. I've asked that question myself often to people from the United States government. I don't get satisfactory answers, frankly. I think it's a question of political will, lack of political will. Everyone knows that it's not like these boats are leaving from secret places in the middle of the night. They're all leaving from the port of Miami. Everyone knows where the port of Miami, the small little freighters leave for Haiti. There are some containers, there are other pallets of things. I just can't believe it's that difficult to inspect those to try to stop guns and especially bullets from getting to Haiti. In fact, the Haitian customs, with very little resources, has actually intercepted 2 shipments in recent times that have arrived in Haiti from Florida, and they found the guns and were able to confiscate them. Some guns come across from the Dominican Republic. The border there is quite porous. Some come in from Jamaica. We have a very disturbing report yesterday by President Petro of Colombia, who didn't offer evidence so far, but he fears that some weapons and ammunition from stockpiles in the Colombian army, which have disappeared, have been stolen or sold on the black market by corrupt Colombian military officers. He is afraid that some of those weapons may have ended up in Haiti. So it's an island. It's not that big, and it really shouldn't be all that complicated for anybody at either end, the shipper or in Haiti, the destination, to try to stop these weapons from arriving. But up till now, there has not been a really serious effort to do so.
And I'm also wondering to what extent current United States immigration policy is making the situation worse in Haiti. I mean, the United States is now sending dozens of Haitians back to the country, despite, what we've been talking about, the extremely high levels of violence, the instability in the country. What is the U.S. position? Why is that happening now?
Again, I wish I had a logical, reasonable, acceptable answer to that question. It makes no sense to be deporting people to a country where there are such massive human rights violations and violence, where you've been evacuating your own embassy staff. I mean, the U.S. Embassy is down to a skeletal staff, as are most embassies in Haiti. The UN itself still has people there, but at a much reduced number. I just don't see how you can, with a good conscience, be deporting Haitians back to Haiti, and they're also being deported from the Dominican Republic in even bigger numbers, and the Bahamas, and it just should not be happening. On the other hand, the Biden government has done a good thing in recent months to allow Haitians, before the airport was closed, at least they could get out under a Biden parole program, which allowed some people to get to the United States with sponsors and could resettle here for a while and escape the dangers. The problem with that program was that actually some Haitian police, quite a few, took advantage of it, as did teachers, doctors, nurses, other professionals. And so the Haitian middle class, when it could, was getting out of Haiti. I don't blame them, but that has been a huge brain drain on the country. And from a police standpoint, losing those police officers for a force that was already quite small has been quite negative.
William, you've been working very closely with Haitians and, of course, focusing on the situation in the country. What is your best hope for what happens next?
My best hope is that the Security Council resolution of October, its 3 main points would be honored and enforced. One would be to get the deployment of the Kenyan-led force, which has many other countries now signed up, into Haiti to work alongside the Haitian National Police to take on the gangs. 2, enforce the arms embargo so that the Haitian gangs do not receive further weaponry and ammunition. And 3, to impose sanctions, as the Security Council authorized, on some of the key people who are behind the gangs, the so-called gangsters with neckties on cravats, the politicians, some of the business people who are still allied with and supporting and in some ways financing the gangs. Put sanctions on them, take away their visas, freeze their bank accounts, prohibit them from traveling to the United States or Canada or France, wherever they go. I think those 3 things put together with the Presidential Council now ideally functioning more smoothly than it has so far, getting things in order inside Haiti in terms of the constitutional reform, organizing elections, that would be my best hope, all of those things happening. I don't see huge hurdles, really, to any of those, but for now, we still are waiting, and every day that goes by helps the gangs. Time is on their side. It makes the job much harder, much more dangerous, much more expensive.
William O'Neill, thanks so much for joining us, sir. For more now on the situation in Haiti, let's get to our panel. Kim Ives is an editor with Haiti Liberte. Roromme Chantal is a former UN official in Haiti. He's currently a political science professor at Moncton University. And Etienne Cote-Paluck serves as editor-in-chief of two publications, Haiti Magazine and Haiti Weekly. Thanks to all of you for being with us. Etienne, let me start with you. You know, we've been talking about the situation in Haiti now for several weeks, and since we last talked, the country's Transitional Council has now selected a Prime Minister, Fritz Belizaire. He was a former sports minister. But if we look at the situation in Haiti, the UN says more than 2,500 people have been wounded or killed in the first quarter of this year, most of them by gangs. Aid groups say nearly 2 million Haitians are on the verge of famine and more than 360,000 are homeless. Let's listen to Carl Scow. He is the Deputy Executive Director of the World Food Programme, talking about the situation in Haiti. Let's watch.
Devastating crisis, massive humanitarian impact, the worst situation, humanitarian situation in Haiti since the 2010 earthquake. Half the population, some 5 million people, are acutely food insecure. There is displacement, there is disruption in the trade and the economy, there is inflation, and so the crisis is felt everywhere.
So, Etienne, what are you seeing on the ground there?
The situation here is really dire. People are starving, literally. Like he said, 500,000 of people are now suffering from malnutrition. Half of the population, 5 million people, are now suffering from malnutrition. We see people getting slimmer. Friends of mine, it's really hard to see because they don't find anything to work for. The economy has been on a halt for the last 2 months, but also almost on a halt for the last 3 years because of the violence in the street. So it's really hard for everybody here, and everybody's suffering. There was a less shootings this week, but there was some yesterday again. There was two neighborhoods that were attacked by criminal armed groups on Wednesday evening. We saw people fleeing the neighborhood with all their belongings. So here the people are really waiting for a solution to end the crisis, the violence in the street, and we all hope that this new government is going to help do that.
Etienne, as you say, the situation is very dire. I mean, in addition to what you were talking about, the fact that there are so many people facing starvation in Haiti right now, so many people homeless, there's violence on the streets, insecurity. Now, we're also hearing that there are difficulties getting fuel in the city, which means, of course, that things can't move at all. What impact is that having?
Yes, it's been 2 weeks now that the gas terminal has been shut down because of armed groups that blocked the entrance. The boats couldn't get in, but for 2 months now, the gas and other goods couldn't enter by boat for the last weeks. But for the last 2 weeks, all the gas that was already inside the terminal can't get out because it's blocked. The police said they were reopening it yesterday, but we haven't seen any trucks in the street yet. All the pump stations in the capital here are closed. If you want to find gas, you have to pay at least double the price in the pump and find it in the streets, in the black market. There's a huge black market in Port-au-Prince because they're used to having gas shortage in the last 2 or 3 years.
Well, Roromme Chantal, of course, one of the most vulnerable groups in Haiti is the country's children. And UNICEF reports that 3 million children in Haiti need humanitarian assistance. A UN official said, and I'm quoting him here, he said, an entire generation is seemingly being sacrificed by violence, and the future of the country is threatened by the dramatic situation faced by its youth. What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, it is a really dire situation, and it is felt by everyone in Haiti currently. By even if you in the upper class in Haiti, people have been impoverished, and obviously the children of Haiti are among the most affected by the situation in Haiti. When I was working for the United Nations in Haiti, the children needed special care because most of the people in Haiti, they don't have access to public services. The government doesn't pay enough attention to those people who are in need. And with the situation that we have currently, that means these people are the most vulnerable. So we need to act right now. We cannot wait. And Haiti's partners in the international community, they have to do something because we were expecting that the presidential council that was put in place, its members would understand the need, the urgency to start sending positive signals, but obviously they haven't understood the situation that we witness in Haiti.
Kim Ives, let's talk about this Transitional Council and how it would work. I mean, it's supposed to act as the country's presidency until it can arrange elections. That's sometime before it disbands in February of 2026. And as I said, you know, it's appointed a prime minister. He's little known. He's a former sports minister, Fritz Belizaire, to serve as prime minister. But Haitians seem to be very divided on this. I mean, let's listen.
We have no leaders. We have nothing. All the leaders are corrupt. They can't do anything for us. I wish we, the people, could bring them down. But if the Presidential Council really wants to do things properly, it has to start by bringing security to the country, because the problem we have in the country is insecurity. And that's why we can't function, why we can't do business, why we can't have money.
So, Kim, would it be fair to say that this Transitional Council has a serious legitimacy problem, and can it function, you know, amid the kind of skepticism which we've just heard?
I don't think so. It's completely illegitimate. It was concocted by U.S. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken and sold to the world through the CARICOM community. That is, it's three CARICOM puppets of Washington, Jamaica, Barbados, and Guyana. And I don't think, you know, its whole purpose is simply to bring in this proxy force, this Kenyan-led so-called multinational security support mission, which is just a third foreign military intervention in Haiti in 30 years. I don't think the Haitian people want it, and I don't think it's going to help the matter. This is, Washington has had its knee on the neck of Haiti since 1986, when Jean-Claude Duvalier was run out of power. The people have tried on 2 occasions to elect their own government, and they were each time turned back with a coup d'etat and a foreign military occupation. And finally, the people have been fed up. They've started to throw off this system. And I think that, you know, we are essentially seeing a showdown between the Haitian people with all their the problems that brings, and the international community trying to maintain the status quo along with its oligarchy.
Kim, clearly there needs to be some kind of stability or security in the country before there's any kind of political movement. So what happens next?
Well, having security and stability to maintain the status quo is not going to solve it, because already the status quo beforehand, people were starving. People were dying of malnutrition and disease and lack of all services. They were living in sewage. They were had no electricity. They had no food. So, you know, yes, this is a case of turmoil, a case of social struggle, and I think it's like a birth. You know, there's going to be blood, there's going to be a mess, but eventually something new can be born,
Yeah.
and there has to be change in Haiti.
Right. Etienne, there are some analysts who say that this particular moment that we're talking about is different because it took place when gangs in Haiti, or armed groups as they're sometimes called, united against the government. And that, of course, led to the resignation of the Prime Minister, Ariel Henry. These groups now want a seat at the table to determine the country's future. I mean, how likely is that to happen? And do you think this unity that they have right now will last?
For now, it's really unlikely because most of the government is done at a distance. No offices are really open. Every ministers are closed and people working from home. So for now, it's really out of the question, but for sure at one point the government will have to discuss with some of those groups probably that happened in the past that didn't work, but first they had to be put in place, and now they're able to negotiate or ask for something to have the violence stop, because what happened is that one of the collective of groups that was known to be mostly close to power has decided to go against the government in the last few months, and now we're seeing all the groups against the state, but they don't have a lot of political support outside of the areas that they control.
Roromme, one of the leaders of one of the armed groups, Vitel l'Homme Innocent, told an American television network that the coalition, this is the gang coalition, their dream is to get rid of the oligarchs who prevent the country from progressing. Is that a valid point that he makes?
No, I don't think so. We cannot take him seriously. The reason why it's what they've been doing, they've been killing people, not members from the Haitian oligarchy, and that is not what they've been doing. And people have been starving in Haiti because of their acts, of their violence, the violence they have orchestrated. So they are seeing something that can make them seen as if they acting on behalf of the Haitian population, but actually everything they've been doing has been against that population. And these gangs, some of them have connections with members, powerful members of the Haitian oligarchy. And some of them even say, listen, we don't travel, we have no means to get by ourselves. The guns, everything we've been able to receive. So those guns we've been able to get them because of powerful members of the Haitian oligarchy, and also because of powerful political parties that have been in power in Haiti. So no, we can't take that. They cannot sell that as if they're acting on behalf of the Haitian people. That is completely not true.
Kim, what are your thoughts on the role that these armed groups are playing right now? I mean, as Roromme points out, there are question marks over their allegiance. I mean, do they owe their allegiance to themselves or to the Haitian people or to other oligarchs in Haiti as well? I mean, they did say they want a place at the table.
Well, I have to disagree with Roromme. I mean, Vitel l'Homme Innocent is a perfect case. He's gone on radio and television and explained very clearly how once they were using him, in fact, Ariel Henry's group, the centerpiece of it was a thing called the Democratic and Popular Sector, SDP, of André Michel, which for which he worked. And he was part of the groups that was armed and used to overthrow Jovenel Moïse. And he explained how once they came to power, they kicked him to the curb. And so he's really disaffected. He's disillusioned. He feels used. And so now he's turned against the oligarchs who were using him previously. I think the connections of the oligarchs, it's to the U.S. State Department, to the Canadian, U.S., and French overlords of Haiti. This is who the oligarchs are most in bed with. They were using the people. They were using these armed neighborhood committees to carry out their mischief. But now they've turned on them. They've said, we're not going to be used anymore. And they're rising up and trying to change Haiti so that it's not this neo-colonial cesspool that it's been for the past 30 years.
Etienne, much of what we're hearing about, of course, is in the capital, Port-au-Prince. But what can you tell us about the situation in other parts of the country?
Well, other parts of the country are pretty calm, at least for security. There's really big economic problems because of the capital that is blocked. Entering and in or getting out of the Port-au-Prince is really complicated and dangerous. So the whole economy has been on hold for the last 3 years because of those groups that were blocking the streets to get in and out of the city. Nowadays, they all suffer for this economic blow, and they are trying to make sure that the violence doesn't get to them. So there's measures taking place in different cities out of Port-au-Prince, and there's a movement of self-defense that has been spread throughout the country, like in Mirbalais, where people who have been accused to work with some armed groups in Port-au-Prince have been lynched by the population.
Okay, and that is where we have to leave it. Thanks to all of you for being with us. And that's it for this edition of The Heat. I'm Anand Naidu in Washington, D.C.